You know, after a rough day of hard work and stress, you'd think that falling into bed would make me feel better. Well, this isn't the case every day. Resting in my bed in complete silence allows me to self-reflect without any distractions before I fall asleep. However, I can get lost in my own mind, questioning the many thoughts that swirl around in my head. And usually, those thoughts make it harder for me to sleep. Should I have said yes in that conversation? I feel like I don't get as much sleep as a normal person should, because I can either stay up very late or wake up very early. One is never more dominant than the other. Anyways, I'm going to talk about the most common things that keep me awake. Number 1. School memories. I think this is a pretty normal one. There are so many moments in my life relating to school that make me cringe so much. I don't know why my brain just brings up a random embarrassing moment of my life in 5th grade that I forgot years ago. Stupid brain. Stupid brain. I can't believe I just brought that memory back unintentionally. What's worse is that I sometimes care more about other people remembering that moment who witnessed it at the time, but most likely don't even care or forgot. And you know what? People probably think the same too. I'm sure everyone else cares mainly about their own forbidden memories that they've forgotten, and overthink that others will make fun of you for it. But in reality, you're the only one who'd remember it, and it's so daunting having to visit it again. Number 2. Future school moments. This is another thing about school that keeps me awake at night. Not only do I hate the past, but I also worry about the future. If I'm stressing about that test or presentation day that will take place tomorrow, I obviously don't want to experience that day, and would rather push it as far away as possible. And how do I do that? I lay in bed and keep my eyes open for as long as possible. This is one of those occasions where I actually want to stay up at night, but for some reason, I never can. If I want to sleep, I won't. If I don't want to sleep, I will. Every time I try this technique, I would be out like a light before 11 p.m. Number 3. My appearance. I question my own reality and my existence, and it normally happens a lot when I'm in sleep mode. If I really look into myself, I don't really feel content with my appearance, my personality, and everyone that is closely connected with me. Out of everyone that knows me, the only person that is most familiar with my appearance is myself. When I look at my own reflection in the mirror, I'll always think, why do I look like this? I don't look like how I think I look. And it makes me wonder if I'm satisfied with the body that I was born in. I believe the reason why I think this is because I see myself way too much. For example, as an artist, I can sometimes feel unhappy with my finished artwork, and then when I look at it again after a few hours, it looks better. This is caused because I don't look at my artwork too much to look too deeply into every little detail, similarly to how a word doesn't sound like a word when you say it repeatedly. Number 4. The universe. Another thing that makes me question my life is how I even got here in the first place. The universe, everything out there. It's mind-blowing to think about how big the universe is and how small we are compared to it. Like, this is a person, this is a house, this is a neighborhood, this is a country, this is the earth, this is the sun, and this is the Milky Way. We're not even close to the size of the universe. Feel small yet? The huge size of the universe is why most people theorize that there are other living organisms out there. An entirely different universe where the civilization is completely different to ours. I don't really believe in these types of things, but I want to see it to believe it. Number 5. Death. I question my life a lot, and I even question its antonym. It's really sad to know that eventually, everyone on this planet, including me, will die, and will be taken over by a new generation onwards. You know, the current generation is already horrible, so I'd be very curious to know if humanity is even going to be stable enough until the next century. I'd want to read a documentary 100 years later talking about the 21st century. Speaking of which, it came to my attention that people are putting so much effort into things that won't even matter after death. Why am I stressing out about having to go to school to get a career if I'm going to die and lose everything in the end? What is the purpose of life if I'm going to die, along with my family and everyone I love? I'm fine. Now for the final thing that keeps me awake at night. Number 6. My phone. Yep, that's my final reason. If I can't go to sleep, no matter how many times I twist and turn in bed, just go on that phone. You know the old saying, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. And that's what I do when there's nothing I can do to make myself fall asleep. Just make it harder for me to fall asleep. I'm honestly not too sure if looking at a screen would make it harder to sleep, but what am I supposed to do? It's 2 a.m. and I spent the last 5 hours turning in bed, failing to find a comfortable position. If I've gotten to that point where I just can't fall asleep, it leads to a massive package of boredom. So going on my phone is perfect to relieve that. I probably shouldn't be using my phone during these situations, but I just can't help myself. And that's about it. I know that I've been talking a lot about what gives me difficulties to sleep, but in all honesty, sleep is the greatest. Just like what I said at the beginning, sleep is the perfect place to unwind and self-reflect on so many things, and it can help organize my plans mentally. If I'm ever overwhelmed by the excessive amount of events that will happen throughout the next few days, getting all my plans together and organizing it all in chronological order really makes me feel better about my future plans. And even though there are so many things that keep me awake at night, I'm always glad to be able to get some sleep without worrying about any distractions. Hey, remember that embarrassing moment in 3rd grade when you peed your pants? Shut up, brain!